Ciao.
Ciao bella.
We have made it to Florence, Italy. As you can see, the Ponte Vecchio, one of the main sites here in Florence, is behind us. So we're exploring basically Renaissance Florence. We have a very packed itinerary starting at the Uffizi Gallery at 8:15 in the morning. It's the second slot that anybody can get into the museum. After that, we are making our way to the Accademia that houses Michelangelo's David, among many other things. And then we're climbing to the top of Santa Maria del Fiore to see Brunelleschi's dome.
Diving right into Renaissance Florence, the Uffizi Gallery is one of the world's finest art museums. It is impeccably arranged with rooms devoted to some of the greatest artists of all time. Established in 1581, the main portion of the Uffizi, with its wooden fixtures and loose portraits resting against the wall, almost feels like an attic full of treasures to explore. Your highlights will likely be catching Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, the 7 panels of the 7 Virtues, and this entire room dedicated to the brilliance of Leonardo da Vinci, which houses 3 of the just 20 or so paintings by the master from Vinci still in existence today. There are also rooms featuring my GOAT artist, Michelangelo, more on him later, hand-painted maps of the known world which I found particularly fascinating, and beautiful busts of the 5 good emperors of Rome, including the Stoic Marcus Aurelius. Even the courtyard of the Uffizi offers gorgeous views of Florence and a look at what's to come on our tour. A short stroll up the road, but potentially a long wait in line later if you haven't planned ahead, is the Galleria dell'Accademia di Firenze, or the Accademia Gallery. The Accademia is home to loads more great art, but its centerpiece, and the reason it was built, is perhaps the greatest sculpture, by my vote, for the greatest artist of all time, Michelangelo's David. Finished here in Florence in 1504, Michelangelo set the standard for sculpting with this piece, portraying a young David readying to battle against Goliath, and it immediately became the symbol of Florence. When walking around and admiring it, it's hard to fathom that the hand of the same man also painted the ceiling of the Vatican Sistine Chapel in Rome. He is the GOAT, people. After visiting the real David, it's fun to stroll down the street to see the replica outside the Palazzo Vecchio, where the original David stood from 1504 to 1873. Not far from the Palazzo Vecchio is our next stop, and another undisputed icon of Florence, the Santa Maria del Fiore, or the Florence Cathedral. Before you head inside, feast your eyes on Ghiberti's golden gates of paradise on the baptistry door across the piazza. Thanks to acid rain, this too is a replica, but you can imagine the grandeur of the original. Once you do make your way inside, and before you ascend the steps to the dome,
Heading up 462 steps to see Brunelleschi's dome.
take in as much of the stunning depiction of the Last Judgment as you can. From God standing as judge at the second coming of Christ, down to the truly horrifying devils and demons in the depths of hell, this is a masterpiece on a grand scale. Emerging from the narrow stairwells of the cathedral into the brilliant Florentine sunshine, you're treated to 360-degree views of the city from the tallest structure in it. The cathedral's dome, completed in 1469 by Filippo Brunelleschi, took Istanbul's Hagia Sophia's 1,000-year-old crown as the largest masonry dome in the world and still retains it today. If you can handle cramped staircases and a bit of a hike, this is a must-do in Florence. Our last stop of this whirlwind tour is at the Basilica of Santa Croce. This lesser-known attraction is the burial place of many notable Italians from the Renaissance era. Here, you can find the funerary monuments of astronomer Galileo Galilei, who observed correctly that the sun is the center of our universe, poet, philosopher and writer of the Divine Comedy, Dante Alighieri, the aforementioned Michelangelo, of course, and diplomat and philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli. On top of the monuments to these historic figures, the basilica itself features a beautifully decorated nave and crucifix and is well worth the stop. In addition to Renaissance Florence, modern Florence is a joy to explore. While it was certainly one of the busiest European cities I've ever been in terms of tourists, this didn't get in the way of the experience at all, given each one of us had all made the trek to the middle of Italy to see some of our species' greatest artistic achievements. From dodging selfie takers and gelato seekers on the ancient Ponte Vecchio Bridge, to strolling along and boat watching on the Arno River, Florence is a special little go-at-your-own-pace city, and one you should come enjoy as soon as possible.
And that's it. There you have it. That is Florence and all it has to offer. We showed you much of the beauty of the Italian Renaissance, obviously with a big focus on my favorite artist of all time. In front of the Ponte Vecchio with the Uffizi behind us, which we showed you earlier today. But I hope you really enjoyed the art and some of the history here.
I think, as the Italians would say about our trip to Florence, Vini, Vidi, Vici? Vini. All I know is Vin, to be honest. We came, we saw, we conquered.
That's right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.